So, you've seen them everywhere, right? These AI tools like ChatGPT have just exploded, and they promise to be this amazing co-pilot for our creative work. The idea is fantastic. You take human ingenuity, you pair it with this massive AI brain, and you unlock all new levels of creativity. But what if that co-pilot is actually, making us forget how to fly the plane on our own?
And that leads us to the big question, the one that everybody from students to scientists is asking. Does using a tool like this actually build up our creative muscles, or does it just make them weaker over time?
Well, let's dive in because we finally have some real data on this.
The whole debate here really splits into two camps. On one side, you have people saying AI unlocks our potential, that it's this incredible assistant. But on the other side, there's this real concern that leaning on it too much could actually stamp out true innovation by making all our ideas kind of the same. Both sides sound pretty reasonable. So, which one is it?
To get past all the speculation, a team of researchers at Peking University designed this really fascinating experiment. Their whole goal was to measure the real, tangible, long-term impact of using AI for creative tasks. So here's how they set it up. They took 61 college students and just randomly split them in two. You had the treatment group, and they got to use ChatGPT 4.0 for their tasks. Then you had the control group, who just had to use their own wits. This all happened over 7 days, but the really important part was a follow-up test a whole month later.
They broke the whole study down into 3 main parts. On day 1, nobody, and I mean nobody, used AI. That was to get a baseline for everyone's creativity. Then, for the next 5 days, the experiment was on. One group used ChatGPT, the other didn't. And then this is the key. On day 7, and again 30 days later, they took the AI away from everyone to see what stuck.
And this is where things get really interesting. The results were, well, they were surprising. And they came in 2 very different, almost contradictory parts. The first finding is kind of what you might expect, but it comes with a massive catch.
Okay, so finding number 1. While they were actually using the AI, the ChatGPT group was just knocking it out of the park. Their ideas were judged as more creative, higher quality, a clear win for AI-assisted work. Easy conclusion, right? Well, hold on.
Because, and this is a huge because, the second they took ChatGPT away on day 7, that entire advantage just, poof, it evaporated. The creativity scores of the AI users dropped right back to where they started, no different from the group that never touched it. And the same thing was true a month later. The boost was completely temporary.
The researchers themselves summed it up perfectly. What this means is that the AI wasn't teaching them to be more creative, it was just doing the creative heavy lifting for them. The skill wasn't transferring. But here's the twist. While that creativity boost just faded away, the study found a second effect. And this one was way more persistent and, frankly, a little more troubling. This is where the story gets really juicy.
The researchers were looking for something called homogenization. It's a pretty simple concept, really. It asks the question, when a bunch of people start using the same exact tool, which was trained on the same exact data, do their ideas start to look and sound the same? Do you lose that diversity and originality that's so important for big breakthroughs?
And the answer they found was a resounding yes. After analyzing all 3,302 ideas that were generated, they found that the stuff coming from the ChatGPT group became way more similar over those 5 days. Their ideas were all starting to converge into the same space.
Okay, take a look at this. These charts really show you what's going on. Think of this as a map of all the different ideas. The blue dots, that's the control group, and the red dots are the ChatGPT users. On day 1, you can see both groups are spread out all over the place, pretty diverse. But look what happens by day 7 and even a month later. The blue dots are still scattered, but the red dots, they've collapsed into this one tight, dense little cluster. Their ideas all got packed into the same little box. And this is maybe the most critical takeaway of the whole study. Unlike that temporary creativity boost, this homogenization effect, it lasted. Even a whole month after they stopped using ChatGPT, those participants were still generating ideas that were more similar to each other. Their way of thinking had actually changed, and it didn't just snap back.
All right, so we've got a temporary boost in performance, but a lasting drop in idea diversity. What does this actually mean for us in the real world? What's the big takeaway?
This research really frames AI as this perfect double-edged sword. Yeah, on one hand, it's an incredible tool for tackling an immediate problem, but the flip side is that relying on it too much might actually degrade our own skills. And if you scale that up, I mean, think about it. If all the scientists, all the artists, all the engineers are drinking from the same AI well, we could end up with a serious convergence of thought, which could stifle those truly weird, groundbreaking, out-of-the-box ideas that push everything forward.
The authors of the study didn't pull any punches. They warned that if we just use these tools without thinking, it could have some really disruptive consequences, leading to way less diversity in scientific thought and fewer unique innovations over time.
So it brings us right back to that fundamental question. Is AI a tool that makes us sharper, or is it a crutch? And this data seems to suggest that while it feels like a co-pilot helping us soar, we need to be really, really careful it doesn't become a crutch that leaves our own creative muscles too weak to even walk.